There's been a lot of striking lately. I've been going to people's yards and that and noticing, obviously it's Monday to Friday, the youths them are off school. This has been happening quite frequently of lately, you know. The UK government are very lenient, are very soft on its occupiers, on the people them who live in this country, blood. Only in the West, only in countries like the UK, Australia, Canada, probably Germany, Netherlands and France and that, can people get away with fucking striking every other ass clout month. Do you think that back home in Africa or Jamaica or certain parts of Europe and that, people can be striking? Yeah, every now and then people might have a strike, but literally it will be like, it got to the point where the people them have had enough. And them poor countries, them third world countries and that, blood, if man think they're going to be striking every other month and that, you ain't going to have a Ras Clark job. But literally this country, the government, is too soft on the people them. You can literally take the piss in this country and there ain't going to be no repercussions, blood. Man used to work for Haringey Council, innit? And there used to be a team that used to do the evictions. So they'll probably have to turn up with a policeman and a locksmith and the housing officer. And you know what they used to do? And obviously it still happens now. The people then will get evicted. I don't know what for. More than likely rent arrears of like 2 years or whatever. Do you know what they do? Once they evict these people, you know what they do? They just move them somewhere else. So do you think that just because you've moved them somewhere else, they're going to start paying rent? Do you think because you've moved them somewhere else, they're going to start behaving themselves, blood? So they've been kicked out of one flat in Tottenham, so you're just going to move them to Wood Green. You think that's going to solve the problem, blood? If a man is a nuisance, if a man is not paying his Ras Clark rent, a man should be made homeless, blood. And if the government really want to give a man a second chance, all right, demote his ass from that house or that flat to a fucking hostel. Blood, trust me, you don't want to end up in a Ras Clark hostel, blood. There was one tenant on the other side of Northampton. Trouble. So much trouble that me and my manager, we had to go there together. They wouldn't even let me go there on my own. Because the tenant might be so much trouble, he might put me in a position where, you get me, it might kick off and that. And obviously, man's there to do a job. Man's not there to get into no madnesses and have to mash man up. Or I might get mashed up, you never know, fam. So he had to accompany me anyway. So anyway, this tenant's known as like the madman on the estate, and he is mad. I remember a man turned up there and he opened up the front door to me, just slammed the door in my face and went about his business, blood. Madman. So anyway, I noticed, because obviously man work on the same estates here and there, innit? I noticed that the flat was empty, so unoccupied. So I went to another flat to work and I asked one of the neighbours, like, oh, what happened to my man there, innit? He said, yeah, well, let's just put it this way, he's been moved. So my man didn't go into no too much details and that. And I think to myself, literally, because obviously man worked for Haringey Council, innit? So man know, they're just gonna move this fucking troublemaker to somewhere else. How is that solving a fucking problem, blood? Man like that need to be made homeless, or man like that need to really seriously be demoted to a hostel. But that probably won't even work. If a man's a fucking idiot and he's just a troublemaker, he's just gonna keep doing blood. A man needs to get kicked out of his yard and made homeless, blood. That's the only way a man's gonna learn his lesson. We literally live in a country where we don't need to do fuck all and get paid for it. I was at someone's house yesterday chatting to the mum and the little teenage sons there, obviously, because people them are, the teachers them are striking, so obviously they used them off school, innit? In this woman's yard chatting to her, she's a big woman, 40 something. Son's days like 13, 14, 15 years old, whatever, innit? And me and the mum having a conversation in the living room, he's sitting down, and I said to him, don't get no ideas. But what I'm saying is, we live in a country, talking to his mum, but obviously I'm letting him know, don't get no ideas. Don't get no ideas, little man. But we live in a country where people can just born, grow in this country, do nothing and get paid, sit on benefits and that. There's no incentive to work. To the point where, like, you're incentivized to work only, I don't know, let's say 14 or 20 hours or whatever amount of hours, and then the government will top you up rather than doing the 40-hour week. So literally, you will get paid. If you're on such a low wage, you will get paid more if you only do 14 hours and then the government will top you up, as opposed to working a 40-hour job in that field profession. Well, I can't call, you know, working in Asda and stacking shelves or sweeping the streets as a profession and that. But literally, if you've done a 40-hour shift, you would get paid less than if you've done a 14-hour shift and the government top you up, blood. What kind of foolishness is that? What kind of madness is that? You are paid more to do less work. Man for do the maths and that. Yeah? You don't need to be Einstein or no mathematician to work out that. That don't make no sense, blood. But this is the country we live in. We live in a country where a man can just come over here, and trust me, man heard the stories. People come over here, claim benefits. Obviously, they're doing something illegal and that, obviously. Claim benefits over here for this family that's allegedly living over here. The family don't live over here, blood. A man sending money back to Africa. Man sending money back to Eastern Europe, blood. You might know some people doing it right now. You might be doing it right now. This is the sort of place we live in and that, innit? But this country is too rascal soft on its occupiers and that. Madness, blood. Every 2 months, strike. Well, I'm not saying in Africa, I'm not saying in Jamaica, I'm not saying in eastern parts of Europe they don't have a strike. But they ain't having no strikes as frequently as we're having strikes. Oh, they didn't increase my wage by a penny this year, innit? So you know what, I'm gonna strike. Foolish, man. But literally, man, it's just foolishness. A man could be a nuisance, not pay his rent, be one of the worst neighbours to grace the earth, and he'll just get moved somewhere else. Like the problem's gonna fucking stop. Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay wise. Done, man.